Hello, 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 and welcome to another Saturday with Stephanie. I think I'm going to stick to that as the title because you guys know that we're going to talk about a lot of different things in order to help you reach the goals that you have in your life, right? Whether it's life insurance and protecting your family, or an annuity, so you're saving for retirement, or you want to know about retirement products, or you want to know about how to live well while running a small business, right? Because running a small business is extremely stressful and there's a lot of information, a lot of things to do. So, what I've decided is each week I'm going to talk about something different and I'm going to talk about things based on my life, my experience. I have to give disclaimers first and foremost. I'm not a lawyer, right? I'm not a financial advisor or certified by any financial institution. I do hold a PhD in holistic health. I do hold a master's degree in business administration with a concentration in healthcare administration. I do hold a bachelor's degree as a clinical laboratory scientist. I have worked in healthcare for 30 years. I do have certifications such as Reiki Master, yoga, lots of different things, right? I am a life insurance agent licensed in the state of Florida and Alabama. Okay. That being said, oh, sound therapist, all these other things. So if one day I do some sound therapy for you because I want to help you release the blocks that you have around money, take it for what it is. I would never do anything on this site or represent myself as someone that I'm not, right? There's a lot that I know, there's a whole lot that I don't know. There's people who know those things. If I can't assist you, find someone who can. If information I give you doesn't seem relevant, move on to someone else, right? Let's just all take what's good for us and keep it moving. Let's get started. Today, we're going to talk about 401ks. And I'm going to tell you the brief history on how I got started with 401ks and some things that you might want to know if you're new to 401ks, right? So, more than 25 years ago, I was working with a gentleman by the name of Mike Murphy. Shout out to Mike Murphy. And I was young, new to my profession. And one day, Mike and I was talking about finances and investing. I didn't have anything invested, barely had any money in savings. I had a kid, I was a wife. I was like, what are you saying? I was taught the basics of balancing the checkbook when I went to school because I did take home economics. But from my home life, I did not learn anything about saving nor building generational wealth. I didn't have that. I didn't know anything about where to put your money, what interest is on your money. Didn't know any of that, right? I knew I needed a bank account. I knew I needed a savings account. I did know about CDs because I learned about those because I received one from high school, right? So I had to learn about CDs. But I didn't know about 401ks. I didn't know about 403bs. I didn't know about annuities. I didn't know about the stock market. Didn't know any of that, right? I'm young, right? So, and this is like in my early 20s, right? I'm like 23 years old at the time when this happened. So it's more than 25 years ago, right? Because I'm 50. So Mike was talking to me one day while we were at work and he was like, hey, are you investing in the 401k? I'm like, no. I had seen the notices we got from our employer about 401k and about the chance to invest in it, but it also came with a notice about donating to the United Way. All I saw was giving money to somebody and that I could not afford to give money to somebody because I got a kid to take care of. I hadn't been out of college but a couple of years. Um, I have bills to pay, right? That was my thinking. So I worked with Mike Murphy like every night, and we worked not we worked weird shifts. So I worked with him 5 days one week, and I worked with a different tech 5 days the next week. So Mike said to me, "Hey, you got to invest in a 401k. Do you know if you invest in a 401k, the company will match it based on how many years you've been working?" And you have to have what's called vesting years. So here's the first thing. When you invest in a 401k, you put your money in and there's a period of time before you can take it out. That's what's called vesting years. So he said that. Of course, I didn't know what that meant. He had to explain it to me. Vesting years means that you've worked for the company a certain amount of years And after that period of time, you can take whatever money you've put in plus whatever money the company put in when you leave the company, right? So it's vested. So you can't be 1 year in and the company puts in $1,000 and you leave thinking you leaving with that $1,000. No, they get to keep the money that they put in. So in other words, think of it as an investment in you, right? That's the first thing he taught me. So in the company I was working for, you had to be vested with the company for 5 years, which meant after working with the company for 5 years, you could take whatever money they put in your account and whatever money you put in your account, right? First thing he told me. Okay, cool. Now, what is a 401k? So, a 401k, and I know this more after becoming an insurance agent, right? So, I do know some things about it. So, a 401k allows an employer to set up a kind of way for their employees to save for retirement, and it is in lieu of a pension. So, there's companies like my dad worked civil service and they had a pension. They didn't have a 401k at some one of the jobs he was working, right? So a pension, you don't save as much money, right? You don't save the same because a 401k is tied to stock market and activities. Your money can go up or it can go down. A pension normally is you work X amount of years and we're going to give you this amount of money when you retire. Every month you're going to get $1,000 from us, right? That's your pension. 401k says you put in money today. If most companies, we're going to match the money that you put in up to a certain percentage when you retire or reach retirement age or whatever the age is, depending on when you started, and you take the money out, you will have all of the money that we gave you plus all of the money that you put in, and those two pots of money will now be one, and you will live off of that money or invest it or whatever else you're going to do. So when you put in money in your 401k, most of the time the company says, do you want to put a percentage of your pay or do you want to put a dollar amount? Mike told me this, and so I always did this. Mike said, put a percentage. The company I worked for said, if you were going to do a percentage, there's a minimum percentage that you can put. At the time, it was 3%. Some companies have 1%, 2%, 3%. Some companies say $50, $25, whatever. They have a little increment. So you have to look at that selection and decide, am I going to put $25 every time I get paid or 3% every time I get paid or 1% every time I get paid? So those are the two things you have to decide. Once you make that decision, your money starts going into the 401k bucket. Your company is going to say, we will match a certain percentage. Like I said, my company matched 3%. So that meant if I put in 3%, my company matches 6%. 3%. That means 6% of my pay was going into the 401k. So to make it easy, let's say that I was making $100. 6% of $100 is $6. So for every $100, $6 of it was going into the 401k every time I got paid, right? So you compound that to where if you make $1,000, you times that. If you make $10,000, whatever it is. So at the end of the year, I had that money going into the account. Now, the next question becomes, what happens when the money goes into a 401k? When the money goes into a 401k, the company invests that money. They have a portfolio and they invest the money in either stock market, annuities, the oil industry, tech industry. They have a lot of different places that they invest it and they kind of diversify it, right? Now, this is as much as I knew when I started investing, right? I'm going to put my money in, the company is going to invest it. I'm going to trust that company to make smart investments and grow my money, right? That's the first part of it. Now, this is just an introduction. I'm going to stop the video here and I'm going to make a second video telling you about investments. And the reason I'm doing this is because a lot of people don't like to watch a very long, drawn out video. So this, you can watch the portions that are pertinent to you at the time when you have it. And you don't have to keep coming back trying to figure out where you were in the video, okay? All right, so that's the initial thing of 401ks and getting started, what happens with it. The next video, which will be coming up shortly after this one, is what the company does as far as how the investments work and what your options are for that. All right. Have a great one. Bye. Maybe bye.